Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion, Place of Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus. One win in the books. And our last run, like, it wasn't bad. Dude, our stats are so good, too. I'm willing to sack town floor 1 to see if we can get some extra leverage in here. Oh, that sucked a little bit. But anyway, why didn't we get hurt on the way in? Very strange. Did we get hurt on the way? We might have gotten hurt on the way in. God, I hate you. Just, like, so annoying. Just be dead, please. Like, early on, we almost got caught in the dead zone again. Like, there better be something in the other chest. That's all I'm gonna say. Because this guy is almost unhittable. There was something in the other chest. It's not great, and you could argue we shouldn't have taken it to begin with. But the reality of the situation is, even though it doesn't feel this way, the second win of a streak is not the time for you to be a coward. That's the time for you to experiment a little bit, you know? There's less consequence. Even though all runs matter, you know, the same at the end of the day, some matter more than others. Yeah, no, I've read it. Yes, Animal Farm. Yeah, it's a good one. I don't disagree. I know, I remember. The pig said it. I recall. Anyway. It is a good book. I don't mean to throw the baby out with the bathwater and suggest Animal Farm is a bad book just because it's commonly recommended. Far from it. It's a very good book. Now, it's not the good book, because you might not want me to say this, but that's the Bible. I think we'd rather have Bob's Rotten Head, and then we can always use the Sun card to bail us out. I thought about using Bob's Rotten Head to get us those 2 extra bombs as well, but honestly, I like my odds of getting bombs natively, and we can just use Bob's Rotten Head's poison against the boss. No keys to open the chests with, but that's okay. I can settle for this right now. King Baby, what do you do? Figure out what you do. You had all summer to think about it. Don't swear. Chunky doesn't talk. Anyway. It's a reference to I think you should leave the television program. I think you should leave. It came out on Netflix like in April. Maybe in May. It's very good. You like it. You like what you got here. If you don't like it, there's not really much you can do about it, to be honest. I'm the one driving the bus. I'm in control. You gotta learn to accept the things you cannot change. Ooh. I would love to have some anecdotes for you, by the way. I've been speaking in generalities for a while. I have not left the house very much. And it's not due to, you know, a declining mental state or something. It's, honestly, I mean, there's a couple of different things, okay? One of them is, officially as of today, I'm recording this on the 31st, it's the rainiest January in... I don't think we can get there. It's the rainiest January since 1937 in Vancouver. And January is already one of the wettest months of the year in typical situations. So it's not like it's the rainiest, and by the way, it rained twice. It's rained like every day. Now, I don't, like quite literally, probably like 28 of the 31 days. I don't mind being out in the rain, but it does put a damper on things to some extent. You're not like, you don't make too many outdoor plans in the rain most of the time. You do what you gotta do when you get home to dryness. So that's part of it. This hasn't really factored into my mindset, but I'm gonna use it as an excuse anyway. We got some confirmed cases of coronavirus, which I'm not like overly concerned about necessarily as of this moment. However, probably would be on my mind if I thought about, hey, let's go to a place where a lot of people are gathered and not washing their hands. And then, you know, what normally gets us out of the house? movies, hockey games. Well, the hockey games, you know, the Canucks are crushing it for, like, the first time in a half decade at this point of the season. It's very nice. But I haven't gone to any games. Since December, at least. And, like, movies. But movies are also, it's January. I still need to see Knives Out, but apart from that... Ooh, that was close. Apart from that, kind of light pickings at the cinema, you know? So I've been doing a lot of inside stuff. I have been going to the gym, getting, you know, another spicy one. I got back in the habit there pretty quickly because it's so, you know, it's dangerous to be out of the habit if you desire, and I'm not going to do that, but I am going to pick it up, obviously. It's dangerous to be out of the habit if you desire to, you know, keep pursuing your goals. Apart from that, I mean, I wish I had gym anecdotes, but I really don't. Everyone in my gym is relatively polite. You might say, NL, what about that tweet where you said, yeah, sure, dude, just take one of every dumbbell? It's not like I was looking to use something in the 5 to 75 pound range anyway. Can I tell you, that tweet was a distortion of reality. I was working out next to a guy who had 3 dumbbells, and I thought in my head, wouldn't it be funny if he had more than 3? What if he took, like, 2, I understand. 2 dumbbells is like, I'm doing a superset, I need this weight for this and this weight for this. In busy times, it might be unacceptable or frowned upon at least, but in most circumstances, I think that's okay. 3 is where you start to go, hey buddy, you know, there's other people at this gym besides you. But basically it was a fib. I'll admit it. It's true. I applied a distortional effect to reality to try to generate some humor. I apologize. Apart from that, people are they're mostly pretty nice, to be honest. They've been pretty nice so far. Give me a key. I'll pay for a key. I'll pay for nothing. I'm out of here. I didn't want to buy anything at your stinky shop anyway. Let's go. Luckily, we started with good stats, because we haven't improved all that much up to this point. But yeah, I mean, the coronavirus stuff, I made a joke about it, because people, like, on Twitter, I've had people ask me, like, what are your thoughts on it? And I don't know whether they're asking because I live in a city where there's a case, or if they're asking because I have an undergraduate degree in biology, which effectively makes me qualified to speak about almost nothing. But, like, what do you think my thoughts are on a potentially global epidemic? Pretty negative. But I don't know. Like, I think there's a lot of, like, enlightened, quote-unquote enlightened. I want to be clear, I'm using that word under duress. Wisdom going around that's like, you know, hey, well, we don't get this paranoid. What a shot. Split the difference. Why nobody gets panicked about the regular flu? Why are they so panicked about coronavirus? You know that the regular flu kills like 5,000 people annually in Canada alone. Maybe even more, actually. It might have been Vancouver alone when I read that. No, that doesn't make sense. That'd be like 1 in 1,000 Vancouver residents die of the flu every year. It'd actually be like 1 in 500. That's a shocking stat. But, you know, they think that it's, and you might be thinking this, with empathy, I'm gonna attempt to explain to you, at least from my perspective, why that's a very reductionist take. The flu, yeah, is bad, and people die from it every year. That's why we make the vaccine, and nobody gets the shot anyway. But I digress. Let's crack it. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Just being a little cautious. Oh, okay. I was hoping for some guppy items. I got greedy, and I'm not afraid to admit it. I'm gonna pop this right away. I don't like these rooms right now. But, you know, with the flu, and again, I'm not an epidemiologist, so some of what I say might be steeped in some ignorance here. With the flu, you know, it's been around a long time. You know, we kind of know, for the most part, it's, I'm talking about, like, the common annual flu, not like, you know, swine flu. You know, you know to some extent that, you know, it's going to infect this to this many people, and their symptoms are going to be this every single year. The book is kind of out to some extent. When you have, like, a new and novel virus that, like, literally, from a genetic perspective, might have just become a strain, like, within the past month. You know, you don't know how things are going to turn out. So every day you're like, okay, how many people is this going to infect? How many people are going to have to be hospitalized because of it? You know, how many people are going to suffer life-threatening consequences? Because that's why people are freaking out. You know, there's always, and it's prone on the internet for sure. There's like a certain coolness to indifference. It's always like, man, all those dummies who care about things are so dumb. Imagine caring about the coronavirus when, you know, 11,000 people die in motor vehicle accidents daily. You can care about more than one thing. And moreover, to some extent, like Rob kind of took that position on the show, to be honest. And I mean, you know, the purpose of our show is to entertain. It's not to get into, you know, it's not to question people's core beliefs and like why they think that and stuff like that. But I'm like, you know, it's not that I believe that I'm going to be afflicted. Please just let me drop the bomb in the right spot. It's not that I believe necessarily I'm going to be afflicted with the coronavirus, but I'm keeping an eye on it because I'm like, it's somewhat close to home and seems particularly bad and also infectious. And then on top of that, like, we don't know how, you know, it's going to shake out. Once they get a handle on it and the spread stops, then they'll be like, remember, we'll start making jokes about it. We'll start selling t-shirts, I survived coronavirus, etc., etc. For now, though, I'm like, let's just keep an eye on it, you know? No shame in being prudent, I think. Wash your hands and don't touch your face, etc., etc. It does lead people into hysteria. I guess I will admit that, and that's frustrating. There was a post on the Vancouver subreddit that was like, get a load of this guy, and it was a person on Craigslist was reselling hand sanitizer, because hand sanitizer is like sold out all across Vancouver outlets right now. You know, I'm assuming like dollar stores and pharmacies and stuff like that. And I was like, man. A lot of people, by the way, were like, this guy's a scumbag. And I was like, is he? Because he's, I mean, what he's doing is kind of, you know, I guess it's profiting off of other people's panic. But at the same time, I was like, he's selling a bottle of hand sanitizer for $4. He's not, this is not a situation where he's hoarded all the insulin in the province. Like, this is, this is a very small-time move. That stuff is funny to me. There's also been, like, extreme demand for, like, those respiratory masks that don't actually block the spread of disease here. But I think, you know, I don't think you should let it dictate your life. Like, I don't think you, obviously, I don't think this is a bold claim. But I don't think you should, you know, cancel your plans to, you know, be out in your neighborhood. But I will say is, like, you know, if I had tickets to Wuhan, I would probably be like, you know what? Maybe I'll take the hit on these and, next year we'll go. This year, probably not the right time. Honestly, we do not care about Bob's Rotten Head anymore. We really, I'm glad we got to deal with the devil, but we still want a little bit of a DPS injection if possible. But it's going well now, for sure. Like, we're locked in, relatively speaking. But yeah, I think it's worth caring about. Sometimes people hit you with, like, a hard question to answer. What do you get by being worried about it? First off, worried is a loaded word. Following the news doesn't make you worried. Washing your hands doesn't make you worried. I would flip it around on you. What do you get by not caring? Oh, a smug sense of satisfaction that the issue can't possibly affect me because of the fact that there are also other issues? Yeah, exactly. Nothing. Nothing but me laughing, calling you a dingbat on YouTube. Now look at you. You had a big mud pie, you used too small a slice, etc., etc. And so on and so forth. So that's what's going on in my life. It's relatively boring to the point that the coronavirus, which has not affected me at all, is my predominant form of infotainment right now. That and, you know, I mean, and I'm downplaying it a little bit, but, you know, you're working harder on YouTube stuff, because, you know, how many times can you record a 30-minute Isaac episode where I'm like, it feels good to be passionate about doing my job again. But I just released the January Best of NL 2020, or Best of NL on Twitch January 2020 highlight video. It was a lot of fun to edit. A lot of good clips in there. Lucky guess. Having a good time. Thanks for your support on all that stuff. Not you, Isaac, not you. I mean, yes, thank you for your support, but also consider at some point potentially giving me a pill of some merit. Don't push my bomb. I need that to get to that stone chest to get nothing out of it, please. It's a big part of my strategy. Oh, yeah, you thought you were gonna get nothing. Instead, you got effectively 2 keys. Incredible. I don't mean to be crotchety, okay? I'm waiting for the true game changer item here. And it does not exist yet. But things will start to pick up a little bit here. I mean, it's not true to say that I had like a very low-key January, because I did go snowboarding 2 times. And, like, that might seem minor, but that's pretty good. I had a fairly, you know, exciting month in the whole scheme of things. But it's really, like, it's the weather combined with the fact that because we've gotten back on this meal prep stuff, I haven't gone to the grocery store as much. When I don't go to the grocery store as much, I'm not meeting Vancouver's denizens on a daily basis. And thus, well, yeah, we'll try here. Thus, I get less anecdotes, to be honest. But it is what it is. Once the weather picks up, get back out there. Take some walks around the old neighborhood. I'm sure we'll see all sorts of stuff. I'm so stoked, too, that we finally, like... I think I said the exact same thing last Friday, but we finally exited, like... no games coming out, and entered some games coming out. And again, I want to be clear. When I say no games, I very derisively mean no games worth playing. There have been plenty of games that you could... oh my god, what's wrong with my face? That you could play for game's sake. But there's been a real short supply of games made by professional or... very apt hobbyist developers. Finally, we're starting to close it out. Like, did you guys watch that? And the videos are very offset. So this is like probably a week and a half to 2 weeks ago I looked at this. But you guys check out that Mortal Glory game. That was a lot of fun. There are some things the audience likes and some things the audience does not like. Mortal Glory, as soon as I played it, I was like, graphically, not everybody's going to be into this. However, on a gameplay standpoint, this is the kind of thing people are going to like to see. And I was very bummed, and I'm not talking about it necessarily in a negative sense, but I was bummed that my Northernlion tries of Still There, that science fiction technical puzzle game that you're like, I don't remember that one. That's because you didn't watch it. Statistically speaking, you probably did not watch it. I was bummed. That might be like the lowest viewed Northernlion tries in like its first 24 hours of any of the Northernlion tries that I've ever done. And I was like, It's a bummer. It's a bummer for me on a certain level because, you know, it represents, you know, that the video was not necessarily poorly received, but for whatever reason, you know, maybe I could have marketed it slightly differently, changed the thumbnail and title of the video to be more attractive and stuff like that. But also, like, you know, I try to describe things in titles and thumbnails in the best, most honest way possible. So, you know, I'm not the kind of YouTuber who would be like, you won't believe the puzzles in this game, losing my mind thanks to the puzzle. You know, I'm not going to title it like that. So I titled it like, you know, sci-fi technical puzzler or something like that, which in hindsight was probably too dry and didn't really resonate with the audience. It doesn't happen very often, but I was bummed. I was like, you know, this is out of all the games I've played on Northernlion tries that have not done that well video-wise, that was definitely the one where I was like, this deserves to get wider attention. Not because the video's great necessarily, but because the game itself is great, or at least very good from, you know, the very little I was able to play of it, because I got hard stuck on a puzzle, you know, very quickly. But yeah, you know, that's the nature of the beast. There's always some discrepancy between what people want to play and what people want to watch. Sometimes there's a one-to-one overlap, and sometimes there's not. So you take the great with the bad. Very few people probably want to play God of Jim. A lot of people loved watching that video. You take the good with the bad. Which is kind of where we're at right here. The run is actually pretty solid. Could use a little more sauce, though. So I'm thinking, what do you do? Well, really, I just want to get one room deeper, get a charge, and get the heck out of town. That was tighter than I'd like. Now, if we're able... That's a bummer. If we're able to go to this curse room... Ooh, it's pretty good. Without losing our bone heart, I probably would, but... And we fought greed, right? Like 20 minutes depths 1. You don't need me to tell you. This is on the slower side as far as runs go. Can't get there. That's okay. Life goes on. This is one of the rare times I'm actually like, this is totally worth it. Absolutely. If we can get a great card, it's all over. And by all over, I mean slightly better for us. But yeah, genuinely, I'm like... I'm stoked that there's new stuff coming out that is actually good, and I know I'm kind of being insulting by saying that, but I also mean it. Like, I made the analogy, and I think it holds relatively well, but I made the analogy, that, or the observation that, like, most of the games that came out on Steam in January, and there are exceptions, but most of the games that came out on Steam in January, I don't think they were necessarily targeted for a January release. I think the person or persons making them went, alright, it's done. Can we have it on the store by today? And it was indeed put on the store by that day. Nothing necessarily wrong with it if it works out, but... Also appreciating the greater level of workmanship and ambition with games that actually are targeting a day for release and, you know, have a harness in place to get the game out and a scaffolding and a, you know, you get the idea. I don't necessarily know where I was going with that except to say it's good. Everything's pretty good right now. I've got few complaints except for the fact that I can't watch my television without seeing an ad for Tom Steyer, and I'm always going like, what's going on? Why am I getting Tom Steyer ads, dude? I live in Canada. And he's like, you better send me to the debate, because I'll kick some tail. And I'm like, dude, you're preaching to the choir, I suppose, but like at the same time, I can't vote for you, buddy. Please get off of my television. I'm trying to watch American Seinfeld reruns. I almost want to, like, you know, tweet him and be like, hey, buddy, someone on your ad team, I guess it's because I'm watching American networks, which makes sense. But some of your money that you're investing here is not being used properly, because even if I would vote for you, I can't. So you might just want to go through like an advertising audit and figure out what's gone wrong there. You're unlikely to find a foreign national following the American primary as much as I am. It's a heck of a spectator sport. Even still, I don't want advertisements for it. Give me ads for stuff like, you know, Tide Pods, or the very strangely named analogous product, Gain Flings. I'll tell you, I haven't even watched like very much TV lately. That's how anecdote bereft I am right now. I don't even have 90 Day Fiance metaphors, or, well, they're not really metaphors, observations. That's about it. Oh, hey! We got incepted there. He forced me to hit him. You know, okay. On 3, say what you think the best item would be for us in this item room. 1, 2, 3. Sacrificial dagger. If you said it, you're a legend, okay? I stand by that. I think a lot of items would be very good. Of course, you know. Mom's knife is in item room pools. It would be very nice to find it in there. If you said black bean, get out. Your tomfoolery is not welcome here. None of these items are good enough right now. Even that's not quite good enough to settle, in my opinion. Very interesting. I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take it. We'll probably look at it. Right now, it's just like a safeguard. But we'll probably look at maybe, you know, making a real attempt at making it our character once we get through the deal with the devil. Have a little bit more of an honest appraisal of where we stand on hit points or health points. Sir? Come on. You know you want to pay out with the Emperor. I beg you. Yeah, very good. Okay. Sackboy's fine. Let's not kill the fire in here, just in case we decide it's actually worth something. I think our DPS is probably a little bit better than the blue candle right now, so I'm gonna re-roll this, and Mama Mega just doesn't really interest me that much. You know what? We're going deep on this one. This is insanity. Never do this. If you are not made of the same twisted DNA as me, do not try this. I am a fool, and I just ruined my deal with the devil to double our damage. And I would do it again if I got the chance. I'd do it again in a freaking heartbeat. You know why? Because we've doubled our damage, and every single spirit heart we get just takes us that much closer, and every single battery charge we're able to buy brings us that much closer, and it brings us that much closer. Tell you what, I think you gotta be pretty stoked about that one. I'm not really willing to let it ride. I think I'd rather just grab that. And I think that was a big turnaround for it. I think that was a very, very solid get. Somebody left a comment, by the way, and this is, I don't know, a month ago, that was like, you should really start using the gift outside of the shop. It can provide you with much better items on average. And I kind of went, yeah, but like there's so many good shop items, but I thought to myself, you know what, I'll try it. And it's worked out for us a couple of times in incredible fashion already. So thank you to whoever left that comment. I think it was a tweet, actually. I don't remember. I don't get that much Isaac feedback anymore. So I probably should remember, but the truth of the matter is that I don't. I'm sorry. Fair enough. I don't know why it's a guaranteed payout. I said fair enough as if there was any other chance. You know what we missed out on this run? Guppy. I don't think we're going to have much of a chance there. Although, to be fair, we do have a 100% chance of a deal with the devil right now. That's not going anywhere. And the Chaos card, I don't know. I mean, if we could get to Mega Satan, we would use it. Otherwise, we'll probably use it on Blue Baby or Isaac. You know what? I'm always excited, though. I've mentioned this. I talked about it in GeoGuessr recently, but, like, if you... Let's assume that you enjoy every calendar year 100 points of enjoyment. I know you're like, I'm only a 75. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm not saying 75 out of 100 or 100 out of 100. I'm saying, just imagine there's 100 points of enjoyment in every year. January to March, you know, every month would have like 8.5 points on average if they were all created equal. January to March for me, those 3 months generate like 15 points total. Not a lot of my enjoyment for the year comes from those months. But I choose to look at it on the flip side and say, hey man, it's already February. I mean, tomorrow. But, you know, when you're watching this, it's already February. We're already almost to the cool months. Even, like, January's the worst. March isn't that bad. Like, February, you know, I got some stuff there. I got family birthdays. There's Valentine's Day, which is, you know, a lot of people have problems with. But to be honest with you, don't let me gatekeep your sadness. But if you hate February because Valentine's Day is there, I'm like, you know, get over it. Hating on Valentine's Day to the point that it ruins like a week of yours, I have to be honest with you, it's extreme 90s energy. That was a very 90s take. In the 2000s or the 2020s, we got bigger problems. In the 90s, we had infinite economic growth, and we didn't even know that there were any negatives to plastic yet. People had more space in their lives to worry about stuff like, Hallmark wants me to be happy on Valentine's Day, but I'm single. Nowadays, it's a bad look. And I'm not telling you how to live your life again. You're saddened by whatever you're saddened by. I guess a better way to say it would be like, you know, I'm not as sympathetic as maybe I should be. I'm like, it's not a real problem. That's ignorant, you know, because you might be like, oh, I just went through like a terrible breakup or something like that. Okay, you get 1 to 2 Valentine's Days then. You get 2 tokens of sadness. Use them wisely. I'll allow it. But apart from that, I'm like, I mean, what annoys me about the wintertime? Filing tax and bad weather. You could just as easily say, get over it to me. And honestly, you might think you got me. You didn't get me. We're both right. I guess the answer is that everybody's got their own stuff that's a drag or not a drag. Depending on what they got going on in their lives. You might be like, Destiny just released a patch that made Arbiters 10% less powerful at close range. Maybe that's your Valentine's Day sadness. I don't know. You know, who am I to gatekeep the sadness? Sorry, when I don't eat for a while, I get like these weird dry burps. You know, it's like my stomach is starting to get hungry. It's not at equilibrium anymore. It starts producing like dry burp gas. It's like inward burps. I know it sounds strange, but like the burp doesn't go outward. It's an interior burp. It happens in my diaphragm and does not expand further. I'm sure other people have it happen. It would be very surprising to me if I have such an aberrant rib cage. Unique physiology. I'll respect, the only thing that's really unique about my body is that I grew shoulder hair at 17 and was fully bald before I was 20. Those are the those are the big ones. And that's not even unique. There's probably like a couple dozen people watching this that are like, I'm 17 and I have shoulder hair. And then I go, yeah, but do you have shoulder hair? Like that guy has hair on his shoulders? Or do you go, I have a hair on my shoulder? Because hairy guys, we have to be in solidarity with one another. Because I'm sure if you're a hirsute male, you run into this situation. You tell somebody that you have like, oh, I have a lot of chest hair. They're like, me too. It's so annoying. There's like a little patch in the center of my chest, and it's like, come on. So annoying. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. Every square millimeter of my chest touches between 6 and 20 curly brown hairs. And they're like, okay, yeah, okay, you got it worse. You always gotta, like, you don't get to share in our pain unless you're actually there, okay? This one goes out to all my really hairy guys. Not the guys who are like, I'm hairy. I have 4 chest hairs. Curly, Larry, Sammy, and Mo. No, no, no. This one goes out to the guys with more body hair than visible skin. This episode's for you. Ew, gross. Excuse me is very judgmental. Let me tell you, life is not a character creator. Obviously, if you could choose to have less body hair, most of the time you would take it. You know, I'm at the stage in my life where I'm not really worried about like, oh, my body hair is like a little unattractive, because, you know, some people like it, some people don't, and, you know, it's a very small part of the human composite, you know? You don't go, oh, Ryan's like a really nice and generous guy. On the other hand, he does have a lot of chest hair, and despite that being completely out of his control, I'm gonna have to dock him a couple points. I don't think that's the way human psychology works, right? But you might. But apart from that, really, like, my #1 inconvenience is not, ew, gross. It's more just like, when I clean the bathroom, I'm like, man, I wish I wasn't so hairy. I'm leaving these body hairs all over the bathtub. And my wife's like, it's a little gross. And I'm like, I think it's a little gross too. I don't like it. But I'm here to tell you, I've been on the other side of the equation. You might be watching this, maybe you're 16, 17, 18, 25 years old. You're going, that won't be me. I'm not gonna go bald. I'm not gonna... Going bald is something that happens to other people. Getting back hair is something that happens to other people. That's why I can joke about it, because it's not gonna happen to me. Well, you may be right. You may be right. But you may be wrong. And I might just be the lunatic you're looking for. Why did I say it with that voice? It's Billy Joel, not James Hetfield. Hush, little Billy, don't say a word. I have a vague memory of technology chocolate milk being extremely great. Anyway, where was I going with this? I don't know. I'm 100% improv right off the cuff, because I don't, I have quite literally nothing to talk about. I can talk about Golden Goblet, but I think that's almost, it probably is, well, actually, now that I think about it, it's 100% over by the time you're watching this. Well, we can finish on a nice note of positivity. Thank you guys so much for supporting the the YouTube content shift that's happened recently. Honestly, one of the things I want to do more of is like channel update style videos. For one, that one that we did probably 3 weeks ago by the time you're watching this, it did really good numbers, which is not like... Cynically, I don't want to pump out channel videos like non-stop and be like, people like channel videos. Isaac's canceled. Instead, I'm just going to, you know, talk about what we're going to play forever. But, you know, there are many situations where there have like been things. YouTube is weird, right? Because, like, I know I didn't finish my train of thought, but I'll get there. This point is more important right now. You're in a weird relationship with your audience where you don't know what they like, so you make assumptions. And my assumption has always been the less channel updates, the better, because people subscribe for content, you know, and entertainment, not to hear, like, behind-the-scenes stuff. And I've thrown that out the window. Now I'm like, man, people love to know behind-the-scenes stuff. Maybe not more than the content, but alongside the content. So in the past, there have been situations where I've been like, I might be able to fill like 15 minutes talking about, you know, what we're doing with the channel right now, but you know, the videos will speak for themselves. Now I'm like, oh no, I will speak for me. So we'll be getting more of those out there as there's time, as there's a necessity, I should say. But for now, there's, you know, in the last 2 weeks, not much has changed. Still making funny videos, one-off videos. And Golden Goblet's been a lot of fun so far. We might even be on our second or third Golden Goblet by the time you're watching this. Just a way to have fun and mix up the content a little bit. I'm very for it. That's right. We will not be pivoting exclusively to channel updates in 2020. I will say though, I've let this simmer in my brain probably since like the middle of November, and you know we're in February now, so it's been close to 3 months as of the time of this recording. I really want to get like one more medium-sized YouTube project or media project off the ground in the next few months. Like a podcast in particular. The thing is, I don't know what to do the podcast on yet, but I love to talk. So I'm racking my brain for what to do and people to work with, and we're gonna come up with ideas. But for now, that's you know, some guys are like, oh, you know, one day I'm gonna like have a garden. That's like my garden right now. Is like at some point in the middle distance, I want to start a podcast, because I think what the world needs is another podcast run by a 31-year-old North American. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. Helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future, and I'll see you next time. See ya!